Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about Kindle Unlimited book recommendations and also my Kindle Unlimited TBR. There are so many books that I have found through Kindle Unlimited that I have absolutely loved. I've also been browsing Kindle Unlimited because my physical TBR is getting small. Teeny, tiny. And so sometimes I'm not in the mood for the books that I have on my physical TBR. And so Kindle Unlimited has your girl covered. And so yeah, all that to say, I really wanted to talk about some books that I've just absolutely loved reading on Kindle Unlimited and then share with you guys those books that I have been itching to pick up. And low-key, I love reading on my Kindle when it's warm outside. I feel like sometimes the sun just blares down on my book pages and it's just too bright for my eyes. And I don't want to take up any more of your time, so let's jump into first up, my Kindle book recommendations. The first book that I want to talk about in this video is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Christina Lauren are definitely most famous for Love and Other Words. It's definitely my favorite book by them. But if you're looking for something with the same feel that maybe you want to read out by the pool in the summertime, or you want to just download it real quick onto your Kindle and read it right there, this is honestly the perfect book for you. This book follows our two main characters, Olive and Ethan. Olive's twin sister is incredibly lucky. Like, things just go her way. She wins money to pay for a wedding. She wins an amazing honeymoon trip, like that kind of thing. And Olive considers herself the complete opposite. Totally unlucky. Bad things happen to her. And so Olive's twin sister, she's getting married, and at the wedding, everyone there gets food poisoning except for Olive and her nemesis, this guy that she doesn't like, Ethan. And so because the bride and the groom get super sick, they can't go on their honeymoon. And so they're like, hey guys, our honeymoon's up for grabs. We know you don't like each other, but if you want a free trip, it's yours for the taking. And so they go on this romantic honeymoon getaway and need to fake date that they are the couple that got married. And it goes from there. It's not like the perfect romance to me, but it is so fun to just fly through, and it's definitely worth picking up if you're looking for a light, fun, summery read. The next series actually that I want to talk about that is entirely on Kindle Unlimited as of May 2025 is the Part of Your World trilogy by Abby Jimenez. This series made me absolutely fall in love with this romance author. And part of that is because this series was free to download on Kindle Unlimited. And so I could give it a little taste, see if I like her writing. And turns out I love her writing. And so, I would tell you guys to read any single one of these books. But if you're a hardcore fan, which I would now say that I am, I definitely recommend starting out with the first book in this series. And so that's what we're going to start out with talking about. I'm going to put these two aside. In the story, we are following Alexis and Daniel. And Alexis is she's from a bigger city. She works as a doctor. Her career is very, very important to her. And Daniel is like a small town carpenter. Like, he lives in this really, really sweet little town that definitely gives off small town energy. And they meet, they have a wonderful night together, and then life honestly just kind of gets in the way, and we follow this relationship where their personal life circumstances are kind of the main challenge on them getting together because they don't live near each other. They have different lifestyles. I'm trying to be vague on purpose, but yeah, I give this book 5 stars actually, highly recommend, and it's on Kindle Unlimited. We're switching genres a little bit. The next book that I want to recommend to you guys is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. This is a memoir that I read this year, and we are listening to Dolly Alderton as she describes what she knew about love at different stages of life. And so this to me sounds like something that everyone should take a moment to reflect on, to take some time thinking about. And it really pushed me to do that because it is exactly what it sounds like. Dolly Alderton, she starts out with you as, I want to say, like a young teenager. And she's telling us what she understood love to be like when she's 15, and then when she's 20 and 22, how her understanding of love changes based on the way that people have treated her, based on the things that she's been through. And especially as someone in my mid-20s, I really appreciated listening to someone who's been through so many different stages of life and, has experienced what it's like for what love means to change, who you love and why you love them and how they love you, all of these different things. It was a really, really beautiful thing to read about. It's on Kindle Unlimited. I think a lot of people, at least a lot of the creators that I watch, sometimes it's hard to pick up a memoir or pick up a nonfiction or like buy it at the bookstore because you don't know if you're going to like it. If that's not the usual genre that you go for, I think it can be really difficult to be like, okay, today's the day that I'm going to read a memoir or read a nonfiction or just like branch out of your comfort zone. I love memoirs and nonfiction personally, but I know not everybody does. And so if you've been like curious if this could be the kind of book for you, I recommend checking it out on Kindle Unlimited because you don't have to make any big, crazy, scary commitments like buying the book at the bookstore or buying the audiobook on Audible. Highly recommend. This one's great and just a beautiful story to hear from beginning to end. I loved it. Next, I feel like this is one of the most iconic Kindle Unlimited, both series and authors, and that is the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. This series is so well loved by Kindle Unlimited users. I feel like when I think of books to download from Kindle Unlimited, the first person that I think of is Elsie Silver. What has she published that I haven't gotten my hands on yet? And I know that they're always there. Like if I have a plane ride coming up, if I have a big trip happening, if I have a lazy weekend, I'm like, okay, I need to check Kindle Unlimited for Miss Elsie Silver's next book. And so in this video, I'm recommending the Chestnut Spring series, but she also has her newest series, the Rose Hill series, that's all on Kindle Unlimited. And then she also has another series that I'm currently forgetting the name of that came out before the Chestnut Spring series that's also on Kindle Unlimited. So she has a list, a long laundry list of books that you guys can choose from. These books are all small town, like cowboy romance stories, I feel like is the best way to describe them. We're following one family and the different relationships within that family. And it is so much fun to just absolutely fly through these books. They are so much fun. And again, it's so nice because if it turns out that cowboy romances aren't for you, no problem. Just send it back to the Kindle Unlimited library, right? It is easy. And so I personally really enjoyed these books. However, I will say for me, they are on the spicier side of books that I have read. I feel like I kind of read a lot of romance books that are somewhere in the middle. Abby Jimenez, Emily Henry, that kind of vibe. And so these books are a little bit spicier, especially as you make your way through the series for my standards. So if that's not your thing, I just wanted to throw that out there. But if it is your thing, go check them out. They're great. They're very well loved. They're very popular, and I would argue for a good reason. And this book is the other book and series that I think of when I think of Kindle Unlimited downloads. The Knock 'Em Out series is just so popular on Kindle Unlimited, and so I'm recommending to you guys Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. This is like iconic OG BookTok, perfect reading to just absolutely fly through. And in this book, we're following our main character. Her name is Naomi, and not only is she a runaway bride, when our story starts, she's literally booking it out of her wedding. She is coming to the rescue of her twin sister, who really fits the stereotype of evil twin, right? Like just causes a lot of trouble, has a lot of issues. And so when Naomi goes to the small town called Knock 'Em Out that her twin sister is in, she, due to a series of events, gets left with her twin sister's daughter, so Naomi's niece. Her sister literally just up and leaves. And so all of a sudden, Naomi is no longer getting married. She has, in the matter of minutes, become a maternal figure, a parental figure to this child. And if that wasn't enough, she has a run-in with Knox, our male main character, that is extremely unpleasant. He is the definition of grumpy in the grumpy sunshine trope. And I personally am not a huge fan of the grumpy sunshine trope. However, I like it in this book. I feel like it was done really well. I didn't feel like he was so absurdly grumpy or Naomi was so absurdly sunshine-y. I really liked how it was done in this book. These are all available to download on Kindle Unlimited, the whole series. Next up, another author who is really, really big on Kindle Unlimited is Frida McFadden. Her, I want to say like all of her books are free to download on Kindle Unlimited, if I'm not mistaken. However, the two that I have read by her are The Housemaid and The Boyfriend. Today, we're going to be talking about The Housemaid. And The Housemaid is actually the first book in an entire series that she has. I think it's a trilogy. I didn't feel the desire to keep going. I felt pretty satisfied with the first book, but if you love The Housemaid, it's a good sign to continue your way through the rest of the series. And in The Housemaid, we're following our main character who is really, really struggling in life. She needs a job desperately, and no one will hire her because of some things that she has experienced in her past. And so she ends up getting hired as a housemaid for this very, very wealthy family. But something about them is off. Something's weird. Something's not quite right. And it all starts, and this is on the back of the book, it all starts because when she goes to see the rooms that she'll be living in, the lock is on the outside of her door. And so to me, the red flags would be flying, but not for our main character. No. She decides, I need the job that bad. It's probably fine. I'm going to work here. And we go from there. And again, they're not perfect books, but they're really, really fun to fly through. And it's being turned into a movie, which is also exciting if you guys are into that. So yeah, if you're looking for thrillers, Frida McFadden is a really, really big one on Kindle Unlimited. Then the last book on my book recommendations section before we switch into my TBR and new releases and stuff like that is this one is so OG, and you know, I don't hear people talking about it that much anymore. And so I feel the need to bring it back. And that book is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I cannot stress enough, love this book. It is just one of those books that I randomly picked up. I randomly borrowed it from my sister. She had it on her shelf. I was on vacation. She was like, literally pick whatever you want. Randomly picked that book up and just absolutely fell in love with it. And I think part of it was because I just didn't see that coming. I didn't know what to expect. And in this book, we're following our two main characters, Bree and Archer, both of whom have been through really traumatic things. Like they both have just been living their lives after going through a lot of very difficult things. And they run into each other one day and, you know, it's obvious that there's just this kind of spark, there's this connection, but it's also to each other, they're very shrouded in mystery. Like you can tell that Bree just wants to learn more about Archer, and Archer, while quiet and mysterious, like wants to learn more about Bree. I just felt like there was so much tension in the pages. This book is available for download on Kindle Unlimited. And so I was like, you know what? I haven't talked about this book in a while. It's well loved for a reason. You could read it anytime, any day. And so I wanted to pop it into this video. So now we're switching over into my Kindle Unlimited TBR. And I feel like this portion of the video, at least for me, when I was researching it, might be valuable to you guys because a lot of these books I did not know that they were on Kindle Unlimited, and now I'm feeling set. I'm feeling like I never need to go to the bookstore ever again, which that feeling will inevitably fade. But for now, we're good. For now, I'm feeling covered. And the first book that is on Kindle Unlimited that I really want to get my hands on is The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. This is Jessa's newest release. And if you guys know me, then you know, have been making my way through the Magnolia Parks series this year. I have one book left out of the 5 books that have been published. And so my rule to myself has been I cannot pick up Conditions of Will until I finish the original 5 Magnolia Parks books. And I say original, it sounds like you need to read Magnolia before you read Conditions of Will. You do not. They're completely separate series. So if you guys have never read anything by Jessa Hastings in your life, you can pick up Conditions of Will. I've just heard nothing but positive reviews from people who I know love her as an author. She writes really complicated, really layered characters and character dynamics, and that's just something that I love. And I'm so curious to read her writing in a different context than the Magnolia Parks universe, like different characters, different socioeconomic circumstances. That's a big thing. Everyone is filthy freaking rich in London, which I guess I don't know that much about Conditions of Will. So maybe everybody's really rich. I have no idea. But yeah, this is a book that I don't currently know a ton about the premise, but I do know that I've heard wonderful things about it, and it's, yeah, available to download on my Kindle any day now. I just have willpower, and I'm trying not to read it immediately before finishing up the Magnolia Park series. The next book that I want to talk about is on my books to read in 2025 list, which is why I was so pleasantly surprised to see that this is on Kindle Unlimited. And that book is One Dark Window. I don't know if the second book in this series is on Kindle Unlimited. I'll write on the screen if it is, but for sure, One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, the first book in this duology, is available for download, which is great for me because I have a tendency to make long lists of books that I want to read and then I don't have access to them, right? I'm like, oh, surely I'll go to the bookstore and I'll pick up that book because I see everybody talking about it. And then I don't. I literally am just the kind of person that picks up whatever book is in front of me, whatever's available from the library, whatever's on my shelf. That's the book that I'm picking up. And so knowing that I can just go and download this book whenever I feel like it is honestly giving me a little bit of peace of mind, especially because I've not made nearly enough progress on my list of books I want to read in 2025. Not made, nearly enough progress on that list as I should have made at this point, almost halfway through the freaking year. All that I know about this series is it's a fantasy duology, or maybe the more proper way to describe it would be romantasy duology. And it has the world building and the magic system has something to do with the deck of cards. Like if you collect all these cards, then you have certain magical abilities or something of that sort. I haven't read it. It's on the TBR, so not 100% sure. But I've just been hearing such good things about these for so long, and I really want to hop on that bandwagon. I want to know if this is the kind of series that I like, and it's short. It's just a duology, so I'm not afraid to put it on my TBR because I know I'll finish it. Up next, we have The Invisible Life of Addy Laroo by V.E. Schwab. V.E. Schwab is one of my absolute all-time favorite authors, but interestingly, I have only read a few books from her, all in the same universe from the Darker Shades of Magic series. I love those books by her. And so I've been meaning to branch out and read like Vicious, read The Invisible Life of Addy Laroo, and I just haven't done it yet. And so when I saw that The Invisible Life of Addy Laroo was on Kindle Unlimited, I got really, really excited because this is again one of those books that I don't have it right in front of me. I've never put it on hold at the library. And so knowing that it's now like back on my radar and being like, oh yeah, this is an author that I love, that I could just read this book anytime. I really, really want to do it. I think I've honestly been putting it off a little bit because I know how long it is. And I don't love reading long books all the time because it means I'm not reading as many books, which is something I really need to work on. All I know is that in this story, we're following Addy Laroo after she makes some sort of deal with the devil, perhaps? Some kind of magical arrangement where anytime someone meets her, immediately after the interaction ends, they forget her, which is actually so devastating. And I think maybe she lives forever. I think maybe that's the trade. Like she lives forever, but the trade-off is that when someone meets her, they forget her. So sad, but I'm so curious because again, I love V.E. Schwab's writing. And so yeah, I need to make a mental note to download this one ASAP. Next on the Kindle Unlimited TBR is Ruthless Vows, which is the second book in the Divine Rivals duology. As I'm saying this, I realize I never talked about Divine Rivals in the book recommendation section. I meant to. I literally got the book out so I could talk about it. But yeah, I've talked about this series a lot on my channel, so if you guys know me, then you know that I love the first book in it. I have been trying so hard this year to not start series and only finish them or continue my way through them. And so there are so many books on my TBR that I've been really, really wanting to pick up. But I'm like, no, you are in the middle of all of these series. And so I've been desperately trying to prioritize finishing those series. And so Divine Rivals is a book that I loved so much. I gave it 5 stars. It is just the most fun and magical story where we're following 2 writers who are communicating with each other through magical typewriters, and they go on this big adventure in a time where there's like a war going on between the gods. It's just so magical, and I really, really want to finish this duology, and I have no excuses because it's on Kindle Unlimited. Also, the lawnmowers just started outside. I'm gonna try to get through the next couple books quickly because the gardeners are outside and I don't have time to finish filming this video later. So let's do this. The next book on my TBR is Heartless Hunter. I'm forgetting the author's name, but this is a romantasy story about a witch and a witch hunter, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. It honestly, to me, is giving Powerless, where we have a girl with no powers and someone hunting the people with no powers. I liked this book. I thought it was good. It wasn't like a standout fantasy to me, but I still enjoyed it, and so I'm curious if Heartless Hunter is something that I will like more, less, equal. Up next, we have Beartown by Friedrich Bachmann. This is a book that one of my friends lent to me, and it has been on my radar for quite a while now. I haven't picked it up lately because, as you can tell from the cover, it's very wintry and it's all about hockey, and I know that it is about a town who really comes together through their love of hockey, something like that. It's a trilogy, and so I think I'm probably gonna read it in the summer anyway. I know. I want to know what the hype is about. And I love that I can go back and forth between the physical copy and the Kindle edition. So I think I might read it in the summer anyway. If you guys don't think I should do that, let me know, because that's kind of what I'm feeling like I'm gonna do. And lastly, the final book that I'm hoping to get to sometime soon on Kindle Unlimited is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This might shock some of you guys because this is a thriller and I am willingly wanting to read it. Alice Feeney is just one of those thriller authors that I've heard a lot of people talk about. And some people like really love her work, but others are really not a fan. I think some people get so surprised by the plot twists, and then other people are, I don't know, I think they like really see them coming. And I just really want to know what my take is on her books. And so this is the one that I have heard the most about. I've definitely heard the most positive reviews for it. Again, the cover is super wintry, and so you're gonna have to let me know if I should hold off on reading this book, or if I just, you know, do what I'm doing with Beartown and say, screw it, I'm curious and I want to read this now. I think to end this video, I'm going to pull the microphone up towards me because the lawnmowers and the leaf blowers and all of the kinds of loud things that could be happening are happening, and it's driving me nuts. And I don't want to subject you guys to that any longer than you have to. So apologies if you could hear that throughout the end of the video. I am deeply annoyed right now. This is the only time that I was able to film after work, and you know, sometimes things do not go how you want them to go. If you guys made it all the way to the end of this video, comment down below the little phone emoji so I know who made it all the way to the end. And I think that's it from me. I hope you guys are having a great day and a great reading month, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.